Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Calculus 1, Summer 2021 session. My name is Dr. Eric Insco, and I just wanted to take a minute to welcome you to the course and maybe walk you through how to get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to log on to Canvas and go to our homepage, which has a module for each week. So I've tried to break this up by week during the summer session. And we're basically covering a chapter every week. Chapter 3 is longer, so it takes 2 weeks. But to get started, the first thing you want to do is complete the attendance verification quiz. And it's only 3 questions, just true or false. But this is so you can get your financial aid. And I think so far 10 out of the 36 of you have completed that. So once you've gone ahead and done that, you can either go back to the home page and click on the next link, or you can click on the bottom of that page, and there's like an arrow that will take you to the next step. The next step is to open up the Calculus YouTube playlist. And this is a playlist that several of the FTC professors and I put together last fall, and it's still everything applies to this semester as well. So we did it for this course using Infinity. So the first thing is an introduction to some of the faculty that we're teaching calculus in the fall. You can skip that, but there might be some good information there. The second video is by my learning assistant from the fall, Vincent, on how to answer or enter answers to questions in Edfinity. I recommend that. Video 3 is how to access assignments and enter solutions. I've already gotten some questions on how to do that, and there is actually a video walking you through how to access Edfinity. The only information that might be outdated is that unfortunately they've raised the price of Edfinity from $17 to $29, but I think that's because they've added some adaptive learning, machine learning algorithms to help students figure out where they're having issues and either tailor the question so that like you can't just answer a question one time, get it right, and then you'll just assume that you know that the rest of the semester. I might go back and ask you some review questions to make sure you really understand the concepts. Okay, so that's the YouTube playlist. Like I said, you can click on the next button and that'll take you to the next thing in the module. The next thing to do is open up the textbook, and we're using an online textbook that is free. So the $29 is the only thing you have to pay, and we use Infinity for everything, homeworks, tests, and quizzes. So once you get used to that platform, it's pretty nice. Okay, so I recommend at least skimming the textbook before you get started on the homeworks because it has the different learning objectives. It'll have the important definitions highlighted. It's got some nice visuals, and also, you know, this is a review section, right? So you've probably already seen all these things, like how to enter things in interval notation or in set notation. But then it also has examples, and it'll show you a solution. So it kind of shows you if you need to review something, it's a quick way to review and say, okay, this is how I evaluate a function at a point like -2, right? It takes you through the step by step. So you can do it and then check your work against that solution. Here's another one, finding domain and range. That'll be one of the questions on the homeworks. So here's the example. You can write that down on a piece of paper. I recommend that you have a pen and paper and you actually write stuff as you're going through this, each section, because that'll help you review for the tests. Okay, so that's just a quick preview of the textbook. It has lots of good examples, and it also has lots of practice problems at the end of each section. So I slide all the way down here. You can see it's kind of long, but there are examples and there are solutions, and then there are lots of exercises if you need to do more practice. Okay, so now that you've opened up the book and you have opened up the YouTube videos, you can slide down to the very first assignment, and this is how you can access Infinity. So notice I put some links to some preview videos in the assignment. Okay, and some of these are from college algebra just because they're a review of concepts that you would have seen in college algebra and high school algebra. So there's just some extra videos there, supplements. But then down here at the bottom, you should see a link that shows you, hey, can you please connect to Edfinity? And so let me go into student view, and then I should be able to see that. So, okay, so you can click here. Here's some videos, and you scroll all the way to the bottom, and this is what you'll see. So link LMS to Edfinity, that's saying link Canvas to Edfinity. You say yes. So you click on that, and then that'll prompt you to pay the $29, and now you're linked. Okay, and so now there's two different ways I can embed these assignments into Canvas. I can either embed it right here, or I can put a link that says open this in another window. And sometimes I do one or the other, and there's no good rhyme or reason. So I apologize for that, but I think either way you can see the problem pretty well. So now you can go ahead and get started on the homework. So the first thing to do is it says find the indicated function values. And so this is f of x is 3x cubed plus x squared plus 2x minus 32. And so to enter in the solution here, I'll do the first one. If I plug in 0, that's really easy because anywhere where I see an x, that just becomes a 0, right? So this is 3 times 0 cubed plus 0 squared plus 2 times 0. Those are all zeros, and so I get negative 32. Okay, so I just type negative 32, and I can submit that one answer. And it says, oh, wait, so look at that. That's a good thing to know, is that if you do that and you submit one part and hit submit answer, it's going to mark those two parts wrong. Now, on the homeworks, you get multiple attempts, but on the quizzes, you would not want to do that. Okay, quizzes and tests, you would want to enter in all three and then hit submit. Okay, so then the next one, 3 times, what is that, negative 3 cubed. So negative 3 cubed would be negative 27. 3 times negative 27 is 81. So I know that first part is 81 plus, and then I would have negative 3 squared. Negative 3 squared is the same as 3 squared, so that's 9. So it's 81 plus 9 is 90 plus 2 times negative 3. So that's me a minus 6. So 90 minus 6 is 84. And then minus 32. 84 minus 32, I think is 52. It's a little early and I haven't had enough coffee, but I'll try to plug that in and see if it works. So positive 52. Okay, and the last thing is f of 2. So f of 2 means I want to plug in a 2 anywhere where I see an x. So 3 times 2 cubed plus 2 squared plus 2 times 2 minus 32. Okay, so 2 cubed is 8, so 3 times 8 is 24, and then I'll have a 2 squared is 4, and a 2 times 2 is 4, and then finally a minus 32. So what's that? That's 24 plus 8 minus 32. I think that's 0. Okay, so I got the 52 wrong, so I'm going to go back and check my answer there. Let's see. What did I do wrong there? 3 times negative 3 is negative 27, 80, negative 81. I forgot that negative sign. That's where I'm wrong. So then that'll be negative 81 plus 9 would be negative 72. Minus 6 is negative 78. Minus 32 is what? 110, negative 110. Let's try this again. Okay, so now I got that right. But I can tell that by doing this myself, I need to, maybe drink a little more coffee, but also remember to keep track of those negative signs. Now, there are other ways to do that problem, right? I could have gone to a calculator and just plugged it in, right? I could have written down the problem and said, okay, f of x is 3x cubed plus x squared plus 2 times negative 3 minus 32. I could have graphed it. And then if I wanted to know what's going on at x equals 3, I could have graphed x equals 3 and highlighted this on Desmos and found the intersection point. 1 second, please. Okay, so you can highlight that and say, okay, 352, that tells you where the point is at 3. If I slide over to x equals negative 2, I think was one of the points, then I can scroll all the way down here, and I guess, what did I say it was? Negative 58? Doesn't seem right. Is that what I calculated before? Negative 110. Oh, I have to plug in negative 3. That's why. Okay, negative 3. And when I highlight this, I get down there, it's negative 110. Another way to do this in Desmos is just to type f of x like that and then type of f of -3. And of course, that's easier than working it out by hand, but then again, you're not really working your brain to do this. You're just plugging them into the calculator. So it's f of 2 is -10. What was the question? Yeah, f of 2 should have been 0. Oh, it's because I have a -3 there. That needs to be x. Okay, there it worked. So -110 and x equals 0. Okay, and so now if I had an issue with that, if you wanted to keep practicing, you can click on this button and practice similar, and it'll pull up another example for you to do. So that's kind of a good feature about Edfinity, is if you have any issues, you can go back and practice more. You don't have to, right? You only have to do the minimum assigned problems, but you can always practice similar ones. Okay, so the next problem is f of x is the absolute value of 2 minus 2x. And so this is asking us to plug in 4 and then find the value. So this one, you're going to do f of 4. So we want to do 2 minus 2 times 4, and then take the absolute value of that. So 2 times 4 is -8. 2 minus -8 is, or 2 minus 8 is 6. And it's -6. So the absolute value of -6 is 6. And then I will need to plug in f of -1 as well. So f of -1 is going to be 2 minus 2 times -1. So that'll be 2 minus -2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. And I take the absolute value of that and I get 4. And I hit submit answer. Okay. So this next one is a piecewise defined function. Piecewise defined functions are really important in computer programming because this is basically saying if x is less than -1, less than or equal to -1, then we're going to follow this rule. We're going to make the function 2x minus 5. And if x is greater than 1, then we're going to follow this rule. We're going to follow the rule -3x plus 3. So this is important in computer programming. You can think of this as like going up to a vending machine or something. It's going to be like, if you put in $1 and you click button B1, then you get a Snickers. And if you put in $1 and you plug in C2, then you get Doritos or something, right? So computer programs have if statements like this all the time. And so this is just a way that we represent these in calculus, is with these squiggly bracket in the different cases. Okay, so if x is less than or equal to 1, we're going to follow this rule. If x is greater than 1, we're going to follow this rule. So the first question is, what is f of 3? Well, 3 is bigger than 1. So we're going to follow this rule down here. So I need to take -3 times 3 plus 3. That's -9 plus 3 is -6. So I should get -6. Okay. Now it says f of -1. -1 is less than 1. So now I'm going to follow this rule up here. So that's going to be f of -1 is 2 times -1 minus 5. So that's -7. Okay, and finally, the last rule is f of 1. Well, f of 1 falls into this category because that's when 1 is less than or equal to 1. So we're going to follow this rule here. So it's going to be 2 times 1 minus 5 is -3. And now let's check our work. Perfect. Okay. All right. So that's a good start anyways. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, but hopefully this will get you started in the course. The last thing I wanted to say is that the syllabus page has a link to, I mean, honestly, you should treat this page as the syllabus, but it also has a link to the paper copy of the syllabus. And I think on Friday, I hadn't updated this link. Like I had written the syllabus, but I hadn't updated the link. And so again, in creating this course, I just copied the previous semesters and then tried to change the date. So if I miss something like a link, just email me right away and I'll try to fix it as quickly as I can. You know, I'm designing this course with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old in the house. Typically I have the 2-year-old in my lap and the 5-year-old screaming in my ear, telling me about, I don't know, something. And so it's easy to forget to hit the save button or to update things like links and stuff. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Um, let's see here. I will be updating this page as more information comes up, right? So I already know that I'm gonna have office hours on Tuesdays from 9 to 10 a.m. and Fridays from 10 to 11 a.m. And Victoria will have office hours as well. She's our learning assistant, and hopefully she'll make a video introducing herself as well. But I'll post the office hours here soon. And I essentially, because this is an asynchronous course, I expect that I'm going to be answering a lot of emails and posting videos at odd hours, but that hopefully makes life easier for you guys as far as you can do this on your own time. And as long as you stay up to date with getting the assignments done by their deadlines, that's great. And hopefully it makes for a good learning experience for all of you. All right. Have a great day. Take care.